breaking up the glass. The righteous love a torch when doubt must pass. They oil the cross, they sharpen him and a wire, then cry with smiling teeth, in God's name bring fire. Dust the square filled up with pitch and breath. A preacher climbed a cart and promised death to every tongue that would not bend and bow, to every brow marked by holy vow. He held a book above the gutter steam and shook it hard until it looked supreme. Be cleansed, he roared, for heaven hates the stain. The crowd licked wrath like dogs that smell fresh pain. A widow crossed herself and kissed the air. A butcher raised his hook as if in prayer. A cooper dragged dry faggots through the mud. Boys laughed to see the bundles stacked for blood. The bell kept time, the chanters found their note. The words grew hot and tightened round the throat. It takes so little liturgy and smoke to turn a shivering town into a yoke. In God's name bring fire. Feed the rafters, feed the choir. Let the ash fall clean and white. Call it mercy, call it right. The magistrate, a right and sable trim, too proud to touch the crowd but pleased by them. He did not raise a torch or bear a blade. He only nodded and the square obeyed. That is the trick by which the wicked thrive. They keep their gloves and still the flesh must thrive. The mob believes his malice heaven sent, while power collects the yield and calls consent. A girl no older than the spring just gone was dragged a hail beneath the chapel dawn. Her cry she spoke against the holy fee, a clan she would not kneel on nor the knee. They tied a wrist with ribbon from the nave to make the binding pious, neat and grave. One friar mocked that she might yet recant. Another grinned and asked if she could share. The old man spat and said the times were weak. The young man puffed with courage safe and cheap. The women watched with aprons to their mouths. No angel split the clouds above the square, just boots in sludge, torch flare upon the rain, and virtue grinning through a peasant's pit. In God's name, hear the dry wood sing, turn smoke into scripture, make cinders king. In God's name, let the full saints glow, twist the mob in hail for the public show. Torch the doubt, brim the liar, raise the chant and climb no higher. When the cruel need heaven, they borrow wits attire, then cast the flame along and cry, bring fire. Inside the abbey cell, safe and warm, the clerks counted the cost of holy storm. 3 homes to search, 6 doors already sealed, 4 names revised, 1 witness made to yield. A ledger kept the blessings and the spoils, the fines, the soot, the fees for lamp and oils. The seal was not a frenzy, wild and blind. It had neat columns, margins, seal and sign. Outside the shirt as well as a marching size, the preachers they shone slick with sacred lies. A name go upon the discipline from God, named every wound a lesson from the rod. It called the poor impure for being poor, that promised heaven after one last more. I asked what paradise would cost tonight. He said, thy tongue. I said, then bite it right. The crowd drew in the silence, pulled and thin. The child began to hum the hymn, swelled on. Then flame took drawed away, a lie takes root. First light, then the heat, then panic underfoot. The shudder burst, where the cup turned red. The smoke curled up like scripture for day of peace. The guard imposed a curfew by decree. The other sold small metals from the pyre. Such is the market made